welcome to Cars on 100. And on today's review, we have this beautiful 2021 Dodge Charger Hellcat Widebody. We're gonna look at this car from the outside, go inside, check out this car in detail, some of the options that you can adjust, and we're gonna take this car for a spin. So let's not waste any more time and let's jump into it. Let's start from the outside first. As you can see, this is SRT Hellcat badge here. This is wide body. You have these huge fenders front and back. You have this snorkel here. This engine is big. I will show you that in a little bit. And as we go around, as you can see, this black color really suits this Charger Hellcat, and it makes this car stand out, especially with this wide body. Look at these rims. As we go around, you have this P0 all-season tires on this high-performance Charger. 305 35 ZR 20-inch rims, huge brakes, because this is a Hellcat and you get massive amount of brake real estate here. You have the Hellcat badge, very nice cat over there. And as we go around, nothing crazy about this except wide body. You see this wide body and you know that this car means business. When you drive on the road, when people see you, 305s all around, front and back. In terms of the tire, as we go around to the back, we have this nice trunk spoiler that really emphasizes sportiness of this car. As you can see from the side, it really extends the trunk very nicely. You have the LED tail lights, beautiful tail lights in the back. SRT Hellcat logo here. As you can see, once again, Dodge is very proud of this car, and it shows. You have this exhaust, very beautiful exhaust. In terms of the sound, in terms of the idle on the traffic light, it's really special car, and I will show you how it sounds right now. As we go around, you have this very interesting vent here. Everything's functional. You can see that everything is kind of designed to look special, to feel special, and in this black color really brings back those memories of old school muscle cars. You have the gas cap here. As you can see, it's capless, so if you're thinking about getting this car, consider gas mileage on this car. But you don't think about that, right? You want a car that is fun. So let's check out this car on the inside. You have two key fobs on this car. I have the red key fob today because I want to use all 717 horsepower, but you can get black key fob to drive sensibly. Maybe you want to give it to a valet, you know, but here we have full 717 horsepower on our disposal. And as you can see here, this is red interior, really matches this black color. You have nice stitching here, soft touch everywhere, beautiful leather. Even though this is not as high luxury as some other cars on the market, but still, you got the engine. And here you have Alpine standard sound system that comes on this car. You can also get Harman Kardon, which has 900 watts. And as we go around, look at these seats. These seats are very much bolstered here. Hellcat gets these special treatments in terms of the stitching, and you got a SRT with the cat as well. So everything with this cat on the logo is everywhere. You sit like you sit in a cockpit of a very fast plane, black stuff plane. You drive on the road, but loud. You don't feel really stealth because this car is so loud, everybody looks at you. Now let me show you this car in a little bit more detail in terms of the interior. Okay, now we are sitting behind the steering wheel, behind the wheel of this SRT Hellcat Widebody Dodge Charger, and this car is incredibly special feeling. Look at this badge here. You have this cat everywhere, SRT Hellcat. You will also get this adjustment for this car. When you press SRT button here, you also have a launch button here. You can launch this car, but you have to be very careful. It's gonna slip the tail around and it's gonna go after you hold it, after you wrestle with this cat, and you're gonna put the power down, then you can hit that speed, almost 200 miles an hour. This car is incredible. You have the, when you press SRT here, you can adjust this car the way you want it. You go into performance pages here, you can go into 500 horsepower mode, 717 mode, you can go to different modes of how this car behaves. Let me show you how you can adjust it. So if you go to custom here, you can go to track, everything will be turned on and traction control will be turned off. You can go to sport, which is okay, you know, somewhat. You can go to custom and you can adjust anything in this car. You can do it any way you want it. So when you go to 717 horsepower, you can adjust anything in this car. But when you in 500 horsepower mode, everything turns off except traction control, steering, and transmission has to be in the street mode. So this is the limitation, the only limitation you get here. But otherwise, if you go into custom mode, when it's 717 horsepower zone, you can adjust anything with a full potential. Instead of having these, you know, gauges here, this car gives you these gauges. You can see all of it here, and you can see the temperature, you can see the dyno, you can measure this car. You have the G-force, you have the gauges here, like I mentioned before. You can see everything: air fuel ratio, trans temperature, boost pressure, coolant temperature, transmission temperature, intake air temperature. This car is for the performance enthusiast, and it shows. And in terms of these gauges, as you can see, you have the red gauges here. Red gauges you only get on the SRT cars, and it also feels special. You have this middle display there. You can adjust it through different buttons on the left of the steering wheel. Lots of adjustment, lots of technology, not just a muscle car. And you have a cruise control in this car as well. You have the flat bottom, thick rimmed steering wheel here. You have pedal shifters here, which is very interesting because they are connected kind of on the same here with the sound. This is how you can adjust the sound, and the track on the other side, the same buttons, or you can mute it like this, which is very interesting because it feels like this car is not just a performance car, and I love it. It's also combining that luxury and performance, just like BMW M5, just like Mercedes-Benz E63, just like Audi RS6 or S6. This car has it. In terms of the transmission, you have very durable transmission in this car. It's very fast. When you put it in the track mode, this car really shifts fast. Quality of the leather and everything, I would say it's good for this price range, because you're not just getting this detail in terms of the quality under $100,000, you're getting performance with it. You have the storage here, and we have 12-volt power outlet. You have the storage here, and as you can see here, the Easter egg, Dodge Brothers, designed in Detroit. Now in terms of the storage here, you don't have a wireless charger. I would love if there was a wireless charger here. This is also a luxury car, so you want a little bit more amenities. You have 12-volt power outlet here, and you have this minimalistic look for this climate control options here, for this center console here. And I'll tell you this much, this infotainment is really good because you can adjust anything, and it's so quick. Look at this. I would say it's one of the best infotainment options out there. And if you go into climate control options, you can go into climate control, you can turn it on, and you have many different options here. You can adjust temperature like this. I mean, it's beautiful, and it's quite large, the screen. I would say it's one of the best on the market. If it was a little bit bigger, I think it's coming up 2023, 2024, 2025, maybe in future they will make it a little bit bigger because people want bigger real estate, especially with such a big car. There is no heads-up display. You have this black headliner here, no sunroof. You know, you can get sunroof in this car when you get fully loaded car, but do you really want it? You want the weight to be as low as possible. Let's check out the back seats. So once I step inside into this Hellcat Charger Widebody, right away I have plenty of legroom. This seat is almost all the way back, but I would say, I would think, to be honest with you, I had more legroom here. But once again, this is a big car, it's a performance car, you kind of forgive it for that. But it's a big size, so you want a little bit more legroom, especially the headroom. if not this glass. You see how the ceiling kind of comes on here, but you have this option that you have the glass and you kind of 6 feet tall individual. If someone jumps in this car because this car is stiff, you're gonna be hitting the glass. So you want to sit like this, so this is a little bit uncomfortable. You have two vents here. You have the heated rear seats, so another luxury feature, very good. USB Type A, no Type C. Type C would be more welcome, to be honest, in our day and age. Nice leather seats, very comfortable and very plush, very luxurious feeling. Very interesting how this car combines, once again, luxury and sport. Very good. So let's check out the trunk space. In terms of the trunk space on this car, you can just unlock it by pressing this button here, and it's large. This is a big car, and biggest perk you get out of this, except the engine, is a huge trunk. So if you want to put two suitcases here and small suitcases on the side, you have a lot of space here. I would say it's one of the best on the market because this is a large car. The biggest perk you get out of this car is up front and in the back, of course, and in the middle when you drive. That's the third biggest, most important perk. But in terms of the trunk space, you have a lot of space, which is very good. Let's check out what's under this hood of this beast. Now, to show you this really special engine, I'm gonna show you this engine, and I'm gonna push the throttle a little bit so you see what this car's engine is all about. This car, it has a lot of power, so you have to really mitigate the gas pedal, especially when you put everything in track. I suggest you put traction control in a street mode. It will still slip, but you can catch the car and it will be less dangerous. It's gonna be more safer. In terms of the feel, first impression as you get in this car, this is a true cat. This is a wild cat that you are taming, especially in this black color. You really feel like you are driving a car that means business, and people around you really understand this. Also, very important is this car is highly adjustable. You can adjust everything in this car. You can adjust transmission, you can adjust paddle shifters, you can adjust the traction control, you can adjust power, which is very unique. You know, BMW has made this first in the beginning in 2007 when they released BMW M5, when they gave you option of 400 horsepower and 500 horsepower. Now this car takes it a little bit notch higher with a 500 horsepower and 700 horsepower. Now you got 717 horsepower in this car. Let me repeat this one more time. 717 almost wheel horsepower, so 650 torque as well. This car is a handful in many ways, especially when you drive. It's very intimidating. You can't drive this car slowly. It's possible if you really restrain yourself, but generally speaking, this is a highly performance car that anybody can get. And this is something that you really need to put into quotes. Anybody can buy this car under $100,000 and drive this. From 17 until 100-year-old person can get into this car without any restrictions and put the pedal to the floor. Now this is what America is all about. Muscle cars like this, and you really feel this, you know, this, if you can hear on the background noise of this exhaust, you can hear this idle. This car really tells you that America built these muscle cars from back in the day. Dodge, thank you that you brought this car into life, into modern standards. You get a lot of luxury features. You have stitching here. You really feel that this car is made well, but it's not very luxurious in terms of comparisons of BMW or Mercedes-Benz or Audi German counterparts. But you really get something more for your money. You're getting performance that is bar none one of the best on the market. So this is under $100,000, 717 horsepower, and this is the most important part about this car. In terms of driving it in the city, if you put this car in a suspension mode, the hardest suspension mode, this car will really make you feel like this car is jarring. But once again, it's not crazy. It is still comfortable. These seats hug you very good on the corners, and it makes you feel like this car is not just a performance car. This is also a luxury car. Even with this huge wide body kit that you saw on the video previously, this is still something that you can use every day. It's just a little bit intimidating. You have to get used to it. If this car, one big suggestion for this car, and I think any car out there in terms of this much power, if this car had front wheels driven as well, just like BMW M5 and M5 competition, this would be the perfect car. This would be the fastest out there. This probably would do 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Right now it's almost 4. And you can get this car, believe it or not, of course, you can get this car in 200 more horsepower, not 200, 100 more horsepower, which is 797, which is Hellcat Red Eye. You can get more power out of this car, which is incredible. It's more expensive, more special. You get Hellcat badge with a red eye. This is why I love Dodge, and they really doing great things in terms of the performance. Now, to calm myself a little bit down, as me being first time in this car, my first impression driving this car is I like this car a lot. I wouldn't say that this car is perfect for me. I wouldn't say that this car is perfect for most of the people, but a lot of people will buy this car and enjoy this car. This is really enjoyable car. Even on these roads here, you have 305 with tires all around, and this car is all about putting the power down, but it is struggling to do that. Even with 305s in the back, I think this car needs a Viper tire, because Dodge Viper has less horsepower than this car with 640 horsepower and has bigger 345 with tires in the back. So I think this car needs more tire. 355 would be perfect. If this car came with 305s and 355s, would be perfect. I think that would harken back to those old school fat tires in the back. This is next step. If next Hellcat will have something like 355 with tires and like same power, it would be more usable, I think, every day, and people would enjoy more, especially in the back, those fat tires. But I don't know if they make tires like this. You have to get specific special tires, and then this car would be even more special, but it's already crazy special. I hope you enjoyed this review. This is my impression of this car in terms of the power, in terms of what this car is all about. As you can see, this car just flips the tires, slips the tires, goes to insane levels of performance, and makes you feel like, what is going on? To this review of this 2021 Dodge Charger Hellcat Widebody. If you have any questions about this car, please leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Stay loving cars.